Okay. Yeah, hopefully. I'll start it with a COVID-19 update theme song, though, or intro, and I'll do a couple of stories on my own, and then hopefully he'll be there by the time we're ready for him. Just let me know. But if not, I'll move on I'll keep going with my own COVID stuff.
Helped when you were in pain, and you held on to them just in case. But holding on to opioids puts your family at risk. Learn more at www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
Plumbers and Steam Fitters Local 83 want to thank the owners and contractors of the Ohio Valley for using their locally trained workers to help build for the future. Local 83 helps design, fabricate, and build the gas infrastructure for the oil and gas industry here in the Ohio Valley. Plumbers and Steam Fitters Local 83 is 300 members strong and growing. They also do residential, commercial, and industrial work on both sides of the river. For more information, call Plumbers and Steam Fitters Local 83 at 304-233-4445.
Soft teeth run in my family, so I don't need to go to the dentist because it won't help, right?
Actually, your family history does not necessarily determine whether you'll get cavities or develop gum disease. Your own behavior can prevent dental disease. By regularly seeing a dentist and brushing twice a day, flossing once a day, and avoiding tobacco products and sugary foods and drinks, you can put yourself on the right path to having healthy teeth and gums for a lifetime.
To find an Ohio Dental Association member dentist in your area, visit associationsadvanceohio.com.
My husband Shane loved being a Columbus firefighter. When he arrived on scene and people were panicking, that's when he was at his best. But in 2019, the mental struggle became too much and Shane took his own life. Everyone needs help at some point. I encourage you to seek help if you need it by calling the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 800-273-8255. For mental health insurance benefit information, visit the Ohio Department of Insurance's website, insurance.ohio.gov, or call 800-686-1526 to speak to experts who can help.
Hello, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm the Storm Tracker, Darnell Foster, with a look at your local weather forecast for your Monday. A mix of sun and clouds, a daytime high of 85 degrees. Mainly clear overnight, 66 for the low. Clouds and sunshine mixing for your Tuesday with highs in the mid to upper 80s. Have yourself a great day, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster.
The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of this station or its sponsors.
Live and local in the Ohio Valley, this is the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe.
69 degrees, clear skies at the Wheeling, Ohio County Airport. 71, a little bit warmer here at my home studio. 71 at the Robinson Auto Group Studios downtown Wheeling in the heart of the Ohio Valley. Warm, humid, cloudy for much of the day today. Daytime high around 83. It's going to be kind of a warm and humid week all week long. Maybe some rain by midweek. Some of the things we're looking at and have looked at so far, across the valley and across the nation, America remembered 9/11 this weekend. We'll hear some of what was said, including former President Bush's comments on the growing divisions in this country and the connections between the terrorist attack 20 years ago and January 6th this year and the rise of domestic terrorism in this country. Got that coming up in just a bit. Some COVID conversation only a minute or two away here on the Watchdog Morning Show. Former candidate and businessman Andrew Yang says he's going to start a new political party. Will there ever be a significant third political party in this country? I want to talk about that. Senator Manchin says, ain't going to do it, not going to do it on the $3.5 trillion bill that President Biden is proposing. Manchin says it's too much, too soon. We'll talk about that. We'll have some details on that in our political insights coming up. Also, Senator Manchin with Hoppy Kercheval coming up today here on Statewide Talk Line on the Watchdog. So those are things that, and then I've got, just for fun, I've got to look at some of the weirdest poll questions I've ever seen. It just came across a whole bunch of absolutely bizarre poll questions. And I'll share them. I'll see what Biff has to answer them and how you would answer them and tell you how I'm going to answer them. But just really weird stuff. And if we get a chance, we'll pick back up on this story about the incident in the Bel Air Central game as well. I didn't have a chance to finish all that before the news came in and hit us at the top of the hour. It's 8:12, time for a COVID update.
COVID-19 update.
All but 3 of West Virginia's counties are red or orange in the latest DHHR map. We ain't seen no green for a long time on that DHHR map. As I've said every time we talk about it, the map doesn't have any real bearing on anything this year as it did last year, but still, it's interesting to take a look at it. There are other maps that are circulating out there. I saw one in the New York Times yesterday having a look at infection rates, and infection rates are red all across the board in West Virginia. Ohio County, one of only 4 counties in the state that does not now have a mask mandate. School board meets tonight. We'll see whether or not they're going to revise their previous decision to only recommend but not mandate masks. We'll take a look at all of that coming up a bit later on. And we'll take a look at the latest numbers the Wheeling, Ohio County Health Department put out on COVID cases. Howard Gamble from the Health Department is here with us. Good morning, Howard.
Good morning.
So what's your latest, what are the latest stats you have for us?
Well, we put out a weekly, one because of volume and other activities that we have going on. So we just go weekly. And weekly, Sunday to Sunday, we saw just about 195 new cases, both probable and confirmed. And we actually had some pending in the dashboard that we couldn't move out because when they're reported to us, sometimes they're missing a factor like an address or a phone number, so we can't confirm them. So we'll confirm those later on. So we had about 200 new cases this week.
You take note in your information sent out last night. That included, I think, a pretty significant number of cases of children, those under the age of 18.
Right. From we started reporting that when we were going to be going back to school, and we had advised the 3 school systems in the county that it would be wise, and our recommendation would be to mask universal. We started putting out the under 18 numbers, and it has grown each week, and we're about at 75. That can range anywhere from a month old all the way up to 18. And so we put that out there, kind of give a heads up. This is what we're seeing as far as cases. These are confirmed or probable cases that are reported to us. And so a little bit of explanation on confirmed and probable. Confirmed is a specific laboratory type. In other words, you got a PCR test and it says you are positive. That's a confirmed test. And probable, for the most part, everybody would assume that is confirmed, which is a rapid test. You went to a facility and you had a rapid test done with symptoms and it came back positive. It is considered a probable. But for the most part, when someone gets that result, they assume that they are positive. So that's the difference between a probable and a confirmed. It's just not a speculation. It's the type of test that was done.
What's the status of these youngsters that are showing as positive cases? Are they, because one of the things I hear often is, well, yes, kids get it, but they don't get very sick. Are they sick? Are any of these kids hospitalized? Do we know?
Hospitalization is a little tough because I don't get that till later as far as the number that are hospitalized. However, we get reports from the ERs. And we do have individuals that are under 18 that are being seen in the ER for issues surrounding COVID. With that said, there are facilities around the country that are beginning to look at, because of the growing number of under 18 cases, they're looking to have a more robust pediatric care units, whether it's ICU or some other type of unit that can care for individuals under the age of 18. Very similar to what we saw a year ago or less. We had units that were there set up to care for individuals that were older. And now across the country, it's kind of looking at maybe we need to be prepared to handle a growing number of cases with under 18, which, given our numbers, we're seeing an awful lot of new cases. Some of the kids are mild to no symptoms, but we do see kids in the ER.
You had recommended a mask mandate in the Ohio County schools. They went to a mask recommendation, not a mandate. They are one of only 4 in the state now that does not have a mask mandate. And we have seen a number of COVID cases in the school system as well. School board will meet tonight. Have they talked to you any more about what your thoughts are now as they revisit this?
Well, we talk daily to all 3 systems, public, private, parochial. In public, we almost daily talk about cases. In other words, we identify a case, discuss the case, what we need to do, if anything. It could be just one child or lots of kids. Our recommendation to the school board, which is the same as the superintendent's recommendation to the school board, still stands. Universal masking. So the board members themselves have not. I think both the superintendent and myself, as the administrator of the county health department, both agree that's where we need to be. It will help some. It's not 100%. It will help a little bit with the transmission. A lot of the cases that we are seeing under 18 years of age are in the public school system. Rightfully so, because that's where the larger number of kids are, of course. But we are seeing some of those cases associated with the school systems.
Howard, whether it's kids or cases in general, clearly we're not yet seeing a slowdown of this at all. Dr. Marsh, the COVID czar for the state, has said he's not sure that we are able to rein in this Delta variant now, that it may be like a wildfire that's out of control. Would you buy that argument?
Somewhat. It'll be quite a while to come out of a peak that we're currently in. And we have to remember, whatever we go up, we have to come down. And comparing to what we did in the early spring, early to middle spring, the only way we came down from that peak was the introduction of a vaccination. And so if we take that lesson and we apply it now, the only way we're going to come down off this peak is to get more people vaccinated. It slows down the disease. The less people that are available for the disease to find a new host, the less cases we're going to have. Now, someone may argue, I got vaccinated or someone else got vaccinated and they still got the disease. That's because there are a lot of people unvaccinated, and it's very easy for the disease to find a new host. And since we're finding new hosts that are unvaccinated and they become very sick, they're finding as well vaccinated individuals. And so that disease just continues to be predominant in a community and will continue to either infect or, in some cases, reinfect individuals that are either previous positives or previously vaccinated. We have a ways to go, and the only way to come out of this is vaccination. And it's simple. It's an easy process, but we have a holdout that believes for some reason that we cannot get it, or that person can't get it, and it's just going to prolong our dealings with this COVID. We would love in public health to begin to deal with something else, another disease, another issue, another topic, something interesting, something different. But we are going to be dealing this for quite some time.
Sticking with vaccines for a minute, later this month, there should be some kind of a ruling or a decision made, I guess is a better word to phrase it, on booster shots, right?
Right. So just like with any other new vaccine or change in the vaccine, there's a process. And so if they're going to go to a booster program, it has to be put through the discussions with the FDA and the CDC, the ACIP, and state health departments that we're going to do this, and here's who's eligible, here's how you're eligible, here's what product is eligible, and how it's going to be presented. So there's a lot to be discussed. If it actually gets approved that a booster program is approved, it would have a date-specific vaccination. So it's either 6 months, 8 months, or whatever months from your last dose. Now, a lot of vaccines we have already have that in place. So this is no different. And second of all, what specific vaccines are we talking about? Moderna, Pfizer, or Johnson & Johnson. So those vaccines have to be approved. Then a discussion will have to be on, is it the same dosing? And then who is eligible for it? Is there specific groups we want to target first, as we did in the rollout? Or do we want to say anybody after X months is eligible? So the booster program is going to be very important to all of us to get as soon as we can when we're eligible. In the meantime, though, individuals can get a third dose. It's different.
Let me stop you there, because that's where I wanted to go next. What's the difference between a booster and a third dose? This has been confusing me for a while.
So a booster is typically vaccines have boosters. So like a polio, we have so many polio shots, and they're after the original one, you're considered to have a booster. Or if you get the rabies series, three doses beforehand. Sometimes you will check your titer levels to see if you need a booster. So a booster just pushes us over for a little more immunity to a specific virus or protection to a specific virus. The third dose was recommended over a month ago as a way to provide individuals with specific health concerns an additional dose of vaccine, because they were seeing these individuals did not have the level of vaccine in their system to be fully protected at that point. So these are individuals who have specific health concerns. Let's say it's a organ transplant, or we've had cancer, or recently completed, or currently in cancer treatment. Maybe we're HIV positive, HIV status of some kind. In other words, you're looking for individuals who are immune compromised, good candidates for a third dose to provide additional vaccine or to the individual for a higher level of protection. It is very different from a booster. The booster is considered, we've completed the series, we get a booster to finish off what we at this point consider our vaccinations round. So it's a little different. Same vaccine, same dosing. There's nothing different about that. It's just who is eligible for it at this time.
If the approval comes later this month for the booster shots, Pfizer will probably roll out first simply because it rolled out first in the very beginning. Am I right about that?
Well, Pfizer more likely will be approved early because it is now approved as a full vaccine.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Okay.
So it'll go out early. Rightfully so. I think you're correct as well that it was first to roll out. Really, it's a month. Our view is what is the month that's going to be determined? Is it 8 months after your first or second dose? Is it 6 months after your second dose? 6 months would get a lot more individuals boosted quicker. And I think that would be more ideal, especially if we go to a mass vaccination, probably back to the Highlands, to a storefront, and you have a lot of people coming in very quickly to get that booster. But we have to wait. They have to look at the data. Is 8 months better or 6 months? In our view, 6 months would get a lot more people protected a lot faster.
We have had now some experience now since the vaccine first was begun to be used. Are we seeing any differences between people who had Pfizer and Moderna? Are we seeing the two? I know their efficacy was just a little bit different in the beginning, but are we seeing any differences between the Pfizer vaccine and the Moderna vaccine now that it's been out and been used for a while?
Not really. We sometimes talk to the individuals who got vaccinated, or even in our testing site, they will check if they got vaccinated and what type. It really doesn't matter whether it was Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, Janssen, or Moderna. Individuals may still become positive or have protection. But what we are seeing with a very common thread, but not this doesn't apply to everybody, but it's pretty common. Individuals who are vaccinated usually have if they do develop or are infected, they usually have an early spike in illness and symptoms, and it drifts off very quickly. And so we advise them that you may have a very early spike in your symptoms. It'll come back down quick, but the rest of your isolation, you may have mild to no symptoms. And we remind people about that because we want you to stay in isolation for the 10 days, the full 10 days. You may feel very well by day 5 or 6, or even sooner, but stay in isolation. Versus individuals who are not vaccinated, the disease lasts a whole lot longer, maybe even past the 10-day isolation period. So you then go 1 day at a time, or it requires hospitalization or more advanced care. So the benefits of the vaccine, if you are infected, you're going to see probably an early spike in your symptoms, drift off quick. You're going to have mild to no symptoms for the typical versus individuals who are not. But we don't really see much difference. It's pretty universal how we're protected with the 3 vaccines.
Can you switch vaccines if the time comes for a booster and I had Moderna, but Pfizer is approved? Is it okay to get a Pfizer booster even if I had Moderna for the first shot or first 2 shots?
No, you want to stay within the family for Moderna, okay. And at this point. Now, we'll see after they meet to discuss the booster program if they announce it doesn't matter. There are messenger RNA vaccines. If you got one or the other, you can get, whatever you choose or whatever's available. But at this point, we typically stay within the family of the vaccine that you've received.
You mentioned you might go back up to the Highlands and have more of a mass vaccination center up there as you had before. Are you gearing up for, it would seem to me that when the booster becomes available, the original shots kind of rolled out in segments, 75 plus, 65 plus, and it just sort of worked its way around. It would seem to me you could end up having a large crunch of people coming all at once these are approved. Am I thinking correctly on that, and are you preparing for that?
Exactly. That's what we anticipate. So you have to do a lot of planning. One, a location that can handle that. So we need to go to a location such as a larger storefront versus the county health department. 2, you have to have supplies on hand, which we've stockpiled for vaccination. And 3rd, you have to have the product. And so we're slowly building up an inventory to be able to respond for that first week, 2 weeks before we have to request larger supplies for additional clinics. Everybody will have the challenges very similar to vaccinating large groups again with a booster program. The good news is it's 1 dose. Whereas before we had 2, and so someone would come back, and when they were coming back, sometimes that was the same time as individuals getting their first. So the volume may not be as large as we're just getting 1 dose out there. 6 months would help in another way, and that would maybe make our response for a booster vaccination program a little shorter. It was quite interesting to be on the Hill vaccinating in winter with snow and having to shovel snow, and then when we left, we were in T-shirts. I don't want to go back up there and be in shoveling snow again. But I'd like for it to be over quickly, that we get everybody vaccinated and protected, and we can then fall back to managing this disease versus responding to an outbreak.
You are still doing testing for COVID, right? The OVMC site is still open?
Yep. We run daily. It's a free clinic at the back end of the old OVMC, 9 to about 3 o'clock, 3:30. And it's free. HealthRight tests as well. And then, of course, our 2 Med Expresses and Urgent Care Center test on a regular basis for both rapid and PCR send-out. So there's a lot of testing opportunities, and that doesn't even include what the hospital is testing in the ER, our long-term cares, our universities, and our school systems that test. So a lot of testing is still available and done within the county.
And you're giving vaccines where?
So vaccine right now is daily here at the county health department. It's a walk-in, and you just walk in. All 3 vaccines are available at this time. And interesting, tonight will be at Bridge Street Elementary School, or Bridge Street Middle School, from about 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock. A lot of that is a second dose clinic, but it's also available for anybody for their first. If evening hours are better for someone, we'll be over there with a full staff doing vaccinations at Bridge Street Middle.
I want to just go back. You mentioned about 195, pushing close to 200 cases in the past week. 75 were under the age of 18. You also had 2 deaths the past week. Is that right?
Correct. And they were on the different age spectrum as well. One was an older individual, and one was a very younger individual. So it hit the spectrum of ages as well.
I hear people saying, and I'll let you go, Howard, I know you're busy, but I hear people saying that you don't need the vaccine if you've already had COVID. Getting COVID protects you from getting it again. Is that true?
No. So if you're infected with COVID, it's positive, you had a test done, great. You have about 3 months of some level of protection. Keywords, about 3 months and some level. It doesn't guarantee you that you are completely protected. And yes, we do see people who get reinfected from being positive prior. So it can happen. Individuals who are positive, as soon as they recover, get vaccinated. It provides a different type of protection than the natural immunity. And so we highly recommend it.
All right, Howard, appreciate your time this morning, as always. Thanks for bringing us up to speed. We'll talk again in the near future, I'm sure. And when we get ready for boosters, we'll particularly want to check in with you.
Yep, we'll see you.
All right, thanks a lot. Howard Gamble, the administrator of the Wheeling, Ohio County Health Department. So 175 cases in Ohio County in the past week. They do weekly reporting. Marshall County does a daily report. Ohio County does it per week. So 195 cases this past week, with 75 of them under the age of 18, and 2 deaths in Ohio County in the past week. Again, Ohio County noted by the governor on Friday as one of only 4 school systems in the state of West Virginia that do not have now a full mask mandate. The governor said he's not going to mandate these things. The governor's not going to do it, but he takes note of the fact that most of the school systems have now gone to a mask mandate. Ohio County, several weeks ago, the school board decided not to put a mask mandate into effect. They had some, what I call squeaky wheels showing up and complaining about it, and so they didn't do it. I certainly think now was a mistake. The school board meets again tonight, this afternoon. I forget the timing of it, but they meet today. And will they revisit that? I would hope they would. As Howard pointed out, the health department has recommended mask mandates. The school administration has recommended full mask mandates. The school board decided no. Will they now realize it was an error? I hope they do. And if they do, I will commend them for seeing the error of their previous ways and making a change. We'll find out sometime later today. I got a bunch more COVID stuff. We'll get to that later on. Some 9/11 things I want to talk about. I want to get back to this Bel Air Central incident over the weekend. I'm just sort of sorting through it in my own mind today, where a Central player, essentially had a late hit, and then the Bel Air sideline, Bel Air coaches were a little upset, and there's some suggestion that one of the coaches may have kicked the guy. I've been trying to look at this video. It's hard to assess. It looks that way, but I'm not sure. Biffy and I can talk about that some more coming up as well. But right now, let's check some headlines from our friends of the Big 7. And Tony Caridi has got our Mountaineer report looking at the game, 66-0 this weekend against Long Island. And then we'll have some room for you at 304-232-8255. We're the Watchdog Morning Show for a Monday.
The WTRF Channel 7 News Update is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
Now it
Back in a minute, Biff.
just 7 yards in the second half. That's the fewest number of yards since Rutgers gained 90 in 2002. That is today's Mountaineer Report, brought to us by Kroger, the official grocer of WVU Athletics. I'm Tony Caridi on the Mountaineer Sports Network from Learfield.
Over the years, you've brought opioids into your home. They helped when you were in pain, and you held on to them just in case. But holding on to opioids puts your family at risk. Learn more at www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
Introducing our new redesigned 7 News app. Our new app features a sleek, modern design, an easy-to-navigate home screen with quick access to local news content, and a localized weather forecast. Subscribing to notifications is easier, and with one tap, you have access to recent push notifications. There are more ways to watch and find video. To get the new WTRF 7 News app, just update the latest version or download the WTRF 7 News app in your Apple or Google Play Store by searching WTRF.
Are you or your loved ones facing a serious legal battle? The law office of Paul Harris wants you to know you aren't alone. Do you need someone that's not afraid to go to trial and fight for your rights? Attorney Paul Harris and his team are willing to go where most firms are not. The courtroom. With a successful track record in civil litigation, criminal defense, including tax issues and healthcare fraud, Harris Law Office will fight for their clients by offering the most aggressive representation in and out of court. Call Paul Harris at Harris Law Office for a free consultation. 304-232-5300.
Hey, I'm going to the kitchen. Can I grab you a Coors Light?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Huh. I never knew there was a zip line in my fridge. Hey! Hey, buddy! Yeah! You got 2 Coors Lights up there?
You got it! Always brewed down to 34 degrees. With a taste as cold as the Rockies, only Coors Light gives you refreshment every time.
Here you go. 2 Coors Lights.
Awesome, man. Wow, these are really cold.
That's the only way I deliver it.
Sure. I mean, you being a mountain climber and all.
Yep.
You probably need a pretty warm coat in there, huh?
Yep.
Hey, Ben!
Yeah!
Ask him if he has any nachos.
You got any nachos in there?
No.
Just icy cold Coors Light?
Yep.
That makes sense. It is the Rockies.
Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. With great beer comes great responsibility.
For all of your IT needs, visit OmniPerforms.com. Omni Strategic Technologies, the only IT company that the watchdog trusts.
Now, during the Jim Robinson Ford Lincoln Toyota Pre-Owned Super Sale, select from over 80 vehicles in stock starting under $5,000. Most are local trades, many with one owner. Hurry to Jim Robinson at the Highlands, home of lifetime powertrain protection. Now, during the Jim Robinson Ford Lincoln Toyota Pre-Owned Super Sale, select from over 80 vehicles in stock starting under $5,000. Most are local trades, many with one owner. Hurry to Jim Robinson at the Highlands, home of lifetime powertrain protection.
Quaker Steak and Lube at the Highlands is the perfect place to relax after a long day. Happy hour from 3 to 6 Monday through Friday. Get $2 off appetizers, $3 off domestic drafts, and house wine specials. Quaker Steak and Lube, voted Best Wings USA. Quaker Steak and Lube at the Highlands with another steal of a deal. Get a steak burger.
Okay, thank you.
And first responders. Quaker Steak and Lube, voted Best Wings USA.
You want sports talk? We got the goods all night long. Tune into Sports Map Radio, evenings and overnights on FM 98.1, AM 1600. We are the Watchdog.
Miss a part of the show? Want to hear a segment again? Check out our podcast page at watchdognetwork.com. The Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe continues.
69, mostly clear skies, Wheeling, Ohio County Airport. 73, partly cloudy skies here at my home studios. In the Elm Grove section of Wheeling, 73 at the Robinson Auto Group Studios, downtown Wheeling in the heart of the Ohio Valley. I want to get more on this incident at the Bel Air Central game with the coach and the student. We'll talk about that coming up. I got some more COVID stuff I want to get to, including a kid, not local, but a kid who was heckled, a student who was heckled by folks at the school board meeting while he was trying to talk about his grandmother who died. I mean, just what kind of a world are we in when that happens anymore? We'll get to that. And I want to talk a bit about yesterday's 9/11 ceremonies. the weekend's 9/11 ceremonies across the country and across the valley. We'll get into all of that coming up. If you have something on your mind, 304-214-1600 is the text line. 304-214-1600, the text line. 304-232-8255 is the CityNet hotline, which our friend Bob has used this morning to join us. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning, Howard.
What's on your mind today?
Well, a couple things. First of all, I want you to be honest. And the nice lady that said how unsensitive I was and hateful I was, maybe she can chime in. I forget her name, but I'm just being honest here. I'm going to be honest on a couple things. I watched zero coverage of the 20th anniversary of 9/11. I just found it way, way too depressing. I wasn't bored with it. I wasn't put off by it. I was extremely depressed by it. Does that make me a bad person, Howard, because I chose not to watch anything?
Well, I was depressed by it, too. I was brought to tears a couple of times, by some of the things that happened. You forget sometimes, even though we lived through it, I forget how horrific that day was. I found it useful to be reminded, but it was certainly depressing. Listen, I stress there's nothing uplifting about it. There were some uplifting things about that day. The first responders, the way they handled things, very positive. I even commend George W. Bush for the way he handled things on September 11th. Well, I said that at the time. If you remember, before September 11th, I used to call George W. Bush the shrub because he was the little Bush. His daddy was Big Bush and he was the shrub. And I often said, after 9/11, he really grew into that job. And I thought he did a good job of handling it in the beginning. So I commend him too. So there were some uplifting things. But basically, it was a depressing day. It certainly was a terribly, horribly, and depressing is the least of our words. Just a horrific day.
Well, I haven't forgot. I'm sure there's things that I could have learned a bunch of stuff on Saturday or whenever these broadcasts were on TV. Look, I don't expect to be around 20 years from now, but if I am on the 40th anniversary, I think I'll feel the same way, Howard. I can't. I'm going to compare it, but there really isn't much comparison. I haven't watched Brian's song since 1975 because I figured out that I feel terrible after I watch that movie. I know the story, but why do I want to put myself through that again? I don't want to cry. So why would I do that?
That's fair. I can't argue with you on that. Again, I watched a lot of it, but I cried more than a couple of times. There were some moments there that listening to some of the cell phone calls from Flight 93 to their families, saying basically, "Hey, I'm going to go drive this plane into the ground. Tell my kids I love them." God help me, that just
Well, exactly.
Stuff tears me up.
In my 59 years on this planet, that day, those folks were the biggest heroes that I've ever known about. And there's been a bunch from D-Day to the Revolutionary War, all that stuff. There's been heroes from the beginning of time. But what those folks did that day, what the police and the firemen knew what they were getting into, but they didn't hesitate. To me, that is the ultimate hero. I know that already. But I just didn't want to go there. And maybe I am a horrible person, but I just wanted to share that with you.
I get you. I don't blame you for that. I did watch him, but I was depressed and tearful as well. And I'm depressed and tearful enough. Maybe I shouldn't have put myself.
Me too. A song, a breeze, anything can bring me to tears. So I knew that, and I stayed away from it. So I wanted to get that off my chest. Also, this weekend to me felt more normal than any weekend since this whole business with the pandemic started, last March. I think it was the crowd. I think it was the noise. I think it was everybody out there enjoying themselves on a Sunday afternoon.
I was watching one of the games, I don't know, it was Saturday or Sunday. And it was a packed stadium, and the announcers began by saying, "This is what we've been waiting for. this is so good to see this, all these people here and back. And they're basically making the point you're making, Bob. It's nice to see, get back to normal. I'm still so cautious about this COVID thing. I'm thinking to myself, all I see is a bunch of people likely to get infected while they're all bushed together there in that stadium.
Well, we'll see. I mean, we could go back to the Italian festival. I mean, there's a lot of, we'll see. We'll see. But I know this. From 1 o'clock in the afternoon till a little after 4, all my problems, all my insecurities went away. I enjoyed myself. It felt good to yell at the TV. It felt good to know how much I love the Pittsburgh Steelers. So it meant a lot to me. Not just the win, believe me, it was great, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about I really felt normal again Sunday afternoon, which might not be a good thing.
And again, I guess we'll wait and see, because I wasn't even going to bring it up, but when I heard the announcer saying, this is what we've been waiting for, all these people back here again, isn't this wonderful? And I looked at that stand, I kept thinking, how many of them are going to come down with COVID? This is, you mentioned the Italian festival. When the Italian festival decided to continue this year, come back after the year off last year, when they made that decision, things were looking better, Bob. The COVID situation was picking up. I mean, at the beginning of the summer, we thought by the end of summer, we'd all be home free. Unfortunately, things have turned around. So we'll wait and see, I guess.
We'll definitely wait and see. And believe me, the NFL has seen nothing yet. Wait till next Sunday before kickoff over on the north side. Steeler Nation is going to show everybody, how much they missed it, and we're back. And it's really going to be awesome. Now, this is the downer part. I buy the newspaper. I'm not a newspaper.
Wait a minute. This is the downer part? Okay.
Yeah, this is the downer part.
Okay.
I am not a newspaper man. I am a newspaper reader. I am a dying breed. I go buy my newspaper, I bring it home, I open it up, and I read it. I've been doing that for over 50 years. But there is something wrong that I can't read about the Wheeling Central football game or the WVU football game until Monday morning. If you can't see that there's a problem, then you're missing the boat, or you're spending way too much time in Utah or somewhere else. This is not working. Just don't print a Saturday paper then. That'll make me.
But Bob, can't you read that in the Sunday news? Right? Oh no, wait, that comes out on Saturday.
Yes, exactly. Don't print the paper Saturday then. I can live with that. It'll make your paper even bigger and better on Sunday. I don't want to read about the game on Saturday, Monday morning. That's a problem. You have to fix it.
Well, all right then.
You have a great day, Howard, and thanks for letting me vent. Take care.
All right, thanks a lot, pal. Yeah, I'm thinking, you should be able to catch that Saturday game on the Sunday news. Oh, no, wait, no. The Sunday news register comes out on Saturday. I still will never comprehend that part of it. Listen, I understand what the newspaper has done. We all are fighting for survival, all right? And everything is business is down across the board, and the media is hard, radio is struggling, just like newspapers are struggling. I get all that. And they decided to cut out one day, Biff. And we could argue whether Saturday's the best day or the Sunday. Just what I don't get is the Sunday news register comes out on Saturday. I still don't get that.
Yeah, and again, it's okay. Well, who do you want to tick off more? Do you want to tick off the Saturday morning people because all the games that are played Friday night? Okay, so if they don't get in, they got to wait till Sunday. But the Saturday games, and there might be 3 or 4 Saturday games. Okay, yeah, so you're going to tick off the people. Either way you look at it, it's a no-win. No matter what they would have done, but I could kind of see why they would cut out maybe the Saturday games, because there's only most of the time 3 or 4 games that are going to be played. So okay, they figure, well, there's not as many. Could you imagine the people that get up Saturday morning if all the games from Friday night in high school that are played, which are some nights maybe close to 30, if they're not in on Saturday and they got to wait till Sunday?
Yeah. I'm not going to second guess the newspaper's decision on which day they thought was better or not to stop publishing. There are a lot of factors that go into it probably that I don't even think about. I don't want the newspaper trying to tell me how to run a radio station. I'm not going to tell them how to run a newspaper. But what I don't get is when you decided to not publish on Sunday, when you said we're not going to do a Sunday paper, we're going to do a Saturday paper. What's the philosophy of calling the Saturday paper the Sunday News Register? That's what I don't get. It's not Sunday.
Because they
call it the Saturday paper. Why don't you call it just the Saturday paper or come out?
Because they can charge them more.
Well, I guess, and that's where they put their most of their inserts are in that big Sunday paper. But
right,
surely they can explain to their customers, hey guys, we're not going to do a Sunday edition, but it's still going to be the same paper, big paper. We're going to have all of the extra stuff we always had on Sunday. Does it come out on Saturday? We're just going to call it the Saturday paper. I just don't. It's the name that bugs me. It's just the Sunday News Register on Saturday. I don't know. It's like it's like if we had the Watchdog Morning Show in the evening. Wouldn't make sense if we were moved to 7 to 10 at night. Wouldn't we then become the Watchdog Evening Show, right?
Yeah, I would think we would.
Yeah, we wouldn't be the Watchdog Morning Show in the evening. We'd be, I don't know. Hey, and bless Bob's heart, I'm with him in that I love newspapers. I love newspapers. And I love the feel of a newspaper in my hand, and I love to read a newspaper, and I love to... On the other hand, convenience, and the world is different today. I still read 99% of my news online. I'm sorry, I just do. And my wife is more of a hands-on person. She loves it. Of course, she likes to do the crossword puzzle and stuff. She's more of a hands-on person. I'm just I read my news. And she gets mad, by the way. She'll say, oh, the paper is here. And I go, yes, I know. I read it 6 hours ago. Because I read it online. All right, we've got 9/11 to talk about. I got some more COVID stuff to talk about. I got these weird surveys, just some strange survey questions I came across over the weekend, Biffy, that I want to talk about. And anything y'all want to talk about, you can do it 304-232-8255 or the text line 304-214-1600. We are the Watchdog Morning Show for a Monday. Glad you are along for this conversational ride.
The Watchdog is FM 98.1, AM 1600 WKKX Wheeling, FM 97.7, AM 1370 WVLY Moundsville.
The ABC News is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
Biffy, I'm going to do a DC Digest, and as part of that, I want to use the Political Insights because they've got some of that Manchin story in the Political Insights from ABC today. All right, and then I'll do a couple other political or DC stories as well. And then we'll do another COVID update. We can talk some more about the Bel Air thing. No guest this hour, but I got a bunch of stuff I want to get into. So we shall see how it goes. Okay.